Want to talk about some of the other games that you're showing on the floor?
Yeah, busy. Next one, I think the first one coming out, though, is Fable for the Xbox.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and it's one of the Xbox sort of headliners. I mean, Microsoft is very big on this because it's really fascinating. I mean, you could tell the audience a little bit about Fable.
Yeah, but basically Fable is a role-playing game. Now, yeah, okay, so we've all played role-playing games. We've played them for absolutely years, and but doing something different with a role-playing game, the first thing that I wanted to do different is I wanted the main character that you play in the role-playing game to morph, to change, to reflect what sort of player you are. So, you know what really, really aggravates me when I'm playing role-playing because I'm forced to be the good guy all the time. I don't like being the good guy. I want to be the bad guy. If I had a bad day at the office, I want to go home and make people suffer, and that's absolutely
wow.
Yeah, completely. I mean,
okay, there's another one of those phrases that we have to maintain for the archives.
Okay.
After I've had a bad day at the office, I want to go home and make people suffer.
Definitely. So.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, you don't feel like being a Mr. Good Guy. Yeah. Certainly after some of the days I've had getting these 4 games to completion. That means that when you play Fable, you start off with a game and you play this 12-year-old kid. By the end of the game, that kid has aged in real time. We've got some really fascinating technology that does that, and he's about sort of 30 to 40, depending on how fast you play. What we're trying to do is make it so every single person's character will be different. If you use a sword over using magic, your hero will look different. If you use a bow and arrow over a combination of magic and sword, he will do it different. So we spent years getting the combat mechanics right, and I really think it's totally unique combat mechanics. And then on top of that, setting this game in a simulated world. And that sounds a bit techie, but what that means is I can go in and do totally bizarre things, totally crazy and bizarre things in the world, and the world will react to what that is. I can do things like play through the story, be a hero, become more of a hero, go up levels, all the things you could do before, and then I can wander into a town and start chatting up girls. If you can't be a hero and be able to chat up girls, what's the point? When you chat up girls, you can.
He's not saying shut up girls, he's saying chat up girls.
Well, let's just talk about it.
And you normally would say chat up the bird, right? So
yeah.
you're dumbing it down for the U.S.
audience. I didn't know if birds were the same.
That's right, we understand.
You know, I've had that mistake on radio before where somebody said, I didn't know you were doing again, that ornithology. I mean, it just doesn't work. The interesting thing is you can chat them up. You can chat them up to the point where they get married, you can start a family, you can buy houses, you can buy shops, there's all sorts of other stuff outside the main core game mechanic that's there.
I found that if you actually do get married, it sort of impinges on the whole hero thing. You know, you don't have enough time to be a hero.
That is true. And if you ignore your wife for a couple of years and you come home, she's going to say to you, where the hell have you been?
Really?
What am I supposed to... Absolutely, she'll start nagging you.
Oh,
now, you've got a very big sword. And there is...
Yes, I do.
You know, we don't...
Thank you.
That was my next question. Is this set in the medieval times?
It
or
is
this
set
present day?
in kind of medieval times. We don't stop... If you're fed up with being nagged, or it's completely up to you what you do. I'm not going to take it any further, but
I understand. You can't do that in these times.
You can't do that in these times. Well, without going to prison.
You shared a great story at the Game Developers Conference about one player who was playing the game. Maybe share that again to the audience.
This is the interesting thing is when you make games like this, which is not just a strict storyline. All these things emerge, and one of the things that emerged was, I always thought of getting married as being a good thing. It's a great thing. It means that someone is, more likely to be good than evil. When I watched this one kid, and he went into this town, and he chatted up the daughter of the mayor, and spent a long time chatting her up and getting used to her and getting to know her and everything. And eventually they got married, and they moved into a house together, and everything was fantastic. And I thought, that's a design decision I've made. I made the right one there. And then he started doing this weird thing. He went up to the father, the mayor of the town, got him to follow him out into the wild, outside where no one could see, took out his sword, chopped his head off, went back, and I thought, what the hell's he doing? And what he'd worked out is, well, the mayor's got lots of money. He hasn't got any other relatives. That means my wife's going to inherit all the money. Went back, sure enough, the wife had all the money. She wouldn't give him a penny, as good wives don't. So guess what he did? He did the obvious thing. He took out his sword again and killed his wife and walked away with 20,000 gold.
There you go.
That is the sort of gameplay which you just don't predict.
That's right. And you don't see that enough today.
Well,
you don't see enough of that today. Let's go to the chat room real quick. We'll get some questions, and then we'll wrap up with Peter Molyneux. Go ahead.
So there's been a lot of questions in this vein today for games that are going to be on the Xbox. People are wondering if it's going to have downloadable content.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I mean, one of the things that has been fascinating is that for the first time ever, a publisher has feature creeped one of my games. Normally, I'm king of feature creeping, and one of the way they feature creeped the game was to make Fable LiveWire. Some really nice things that happen with that. LiveWire means that you can see your friends when they come up and you can chat to them. Also, we look at your buddy list. The population of the towns within the Fable world are your buddies on the buddy list, and that makes an enormous difference. And we are thinking about the capacity of having downloadable content. There's a lot of issues about that, but we're really seriously thinking about that.
One more?
Sure. Somebody else is wondering how schools are going to work.
Okay, yeah, there are schools within. These are some of the, when you're building a real world and there's got kids in, those kids have to go to school. And there is a great moment, and anyone that gets Fable, you've got to try this. Try, when you're a little bit famous as a hero, try walking into a school in the middle of story time. And, all the kids gather around you. You'll notice that some of them have dolls which are in your image because you're a hero and you're like a fan, and they really start worshipping you.
And then you read them the Lorax.
Yeah,
then you tell them the story about the wife that you just took.
Yeah. Now, kids, I've got a big sword. Okay. You can too. All right. So one last thought, Dave.
Sure.
Any questions?
Oh, I did want to point out, you could also walk into the school without pants on, and it's that kind of game. You can do whatever you want.
You can do whatever you like. There is a criminal system, and you will be, obviously, if you start pushing that, you're going to be thrown in jail pretty quick.
So any idea when the movies is coming out?
I haven't. If I gave you a date, it would be a complete and utter guess.
So maybe by this time next year?
Oh, absolutely, we're going to be done by this time next year, completely. I mean, we're trying to get it. We've got all the technology in there. You can make all the movies. We just need to make sure that it's, it's balanced and it's bug-free.
Well, I am just fascinated by that. I'm a huge student of the movie industry and looking forward to that game very much. Peter Molyneux, Lionhead Studios. Got Fable out now, movies out next year, Black and White 2, BC. Thanks so much for being on LiveWire.
Not at all.
Appreciate it very much. All right. And that wraps up our day. We're going to come back tomorrow morning, 9:30 on the West Coast, 12:30. Give Spiff his microphone. 9:30 on the West Coast tomorrow, and you're going to have a lot of this stuff available for people on the Insider site and on the arcade site to download it from File Planet as well.
Yeah, probably next week you'll be able to download the stuff through File Planet. We want to get through the live content and keep that as special as possible for our subscribers right now.
Right, and for those of you that listened or didn't get a chance to listen to the show earlier today, the broadcast show, we will have that available after probably, I'm trying to think, when will I get back from the party tonight? I'll have it all uploadable by about 11 on the West Coast tonight, and you'll be able to grab it from the DavidLawrenceShow.com.
Great.
Again, thanks for everybody for being with us, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.
Absolutely. We got a great lineup tomorrow, so you definitely don't want to miss that.
Check the website for that at GameSpyArcade.com/LiveWire. You'll see the whole lineup, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.
Yep.